So how do we start?
So we start.
How do we start? Make sure we'll all talk that loud so obviously the mic can hear.
So, my name is Michael. I'm a filmmaker from Ireland.
But that's not third point. Right. Right, so Adam you used to laugh there.
Okay.
So you are the main host of this podcast.
I am.
Therefore you should introduce the name of the podcast, what it is, and then introduce your co-hosts for today.
do all the talking too. I'm okay to listen.
That's what I hired you guys for. Alright, okay. Hello and welcome to the first episode, the pilot of the Director's Lounge podcast on ZeusWeusFilm.
Oh god.
We have on my left,
What's his name?
Producer T.
Producer T on the mix.
Oh yeah.
So today I'm going to basically be producing. I will any questions the guys have, I'll be answering them throughout. I'll be more behind the scenes throughout the rest of the series, as these guys are still laughing. But today, because of the pilot episode, I am actually on the podcast. But you may only see glimpses of me in the future episodes. Also, right, bro, like, that's the thing, you actually have to restart it now, because you can't just...
No, we can
Let it roll. Let them interrupt.
Bro,
This guy produces.
No, restart it, actually, restart it.
No, this
No, it rolls,
This
it
is
rolls,
actually
man.
golden. This is actually golden. Wait, on my right, we have Spontaneous Mike.
Pretty spontaneous.
And I'm Zeus.
That's true. I didn't get the memo.
You're wellied already, mate.
No, it's had like 2 cans of Speedway.
Yeah, let me
Wait, I've
go.
had 3. Delicious. Right, what's the schedule? What do we talk about?
No, wait, on a reel, can we actually restart?
No, it's
It
so
rolls,
good.
it rolls.
It's so good.
No, like this whole intro has just been used to laughing. There's
but
nothing
that's
to...
it's so funny though.
Send it to the camera. Send it to the people.
Yeah, we should probably restart this right now.
Nah, it's got to roll and then we can't.
When I started recording, the button got stuck, and I can't stop.
You got stuck here.
No, because we don't have to start. We don't have to start recording. I just mean like start
Yeah, let's restart.
start the intro again. Just because
It's all set.
you went to start, and it feels as if you started, and then you went to introduce me, and then you started laughing, and then I started introducing myself, and then Mike
Okay,
and then Mike was laughing while I was trying to say what I was going to be doing in the show.
No, that's just how I listen. Okay.
Let's be real. If we restart, like we're just gonna laugh even more.
No.
Yeah, I'll watch that new ZeusWeusFilm.
What?
The one that's coming out tomorrow. 8 p.m. Restart. Introduce me.
We'll get to that topic.
The end of the video.
Okay. So we'll get straight into it. We'll get into the meat and potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this only the 5th video on ZeusWeusFilm?
Well, that's a good question to ask. Why is it the 5th video?
You know what?
Look, guys. Okay. Stop. What the
What's with the f***ing shapes? Oh, I'm gonna swear.
man think this?
Man, I'll get to a circle, but I'm too rectangular.
I'll believe that.
Right, so why are we making this in the 5th episode? Because podcasts are late. Everyone's doing it. Joe Rogan, have you watched it?
Right, so
Yeah.
this is Director's Line podcast. The podcast is meant to be a podcast about film and about the topics of film, but also topics we talk about outside of film. So this first episode is going to basically be the pilot, and we're going to be talking about starting up the new content, what our plans are for the future of the content, and probably from there just going a bit crazy after that, to be honest. Probably interviews I probably just saw.
Probably.
But
Glad to come.
for the start, as we're asking questions, so I'll start asking you first question was, what has actually gotten you to start content again?
I say, well, I think that it would be starting again because I made 2 videos at the start of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I said it in, I don't think it was the video went up on Wednesday. I think it was the one up on Tuesday, which was the first episode of Beyond Film, which is basically, the reason I didn't was because since I started ZeusWeusFilm as like more like a professional company,
Mm-hmm.
doing like YouTube content basically for it,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if it would go well. Like it might sort of dampen the image of
Yeah.
like ZeusWeusFilm. It might, you might go to approach like a client and they'll take one look at the channel and be like, what? But then like I said in that video, it's like, what's the alternative? Well, the alternative is the brand's not going to grow anywhere near as fast if you don't actually like do stuff for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, plus I have like a desire to make content, and even though I've made a lot of stuff for Nutty McCashew, like
Mhm.
my personal channel, it just doesn't feel like fulfilling to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think-
Since you're like catering your content towards YouTube, you kind of have to have
Yeah,
a
it's
constant
kinda like,
flow of videos coming out to be successful.
I felt like if you're doing like videos on Nutty McCashew that are more like, especially like gaming oriented,
Yeah.
and then you're trying to like build a career doing stuff in film, it feels like anytime you devote to that, it's taken away from that.
Mm-hmm.
But if the content you make is like on ZeusWeusFilm, well then it feels like everything's like working together to like build something faster.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind
Well,
of the reason.
Just to give the viewers a bit of their background, the way that you and Michael met was completely through your love for film, which is why you are working together now, making movies and videos
Yeah,
together.
we had similar interests in college. So we met in college, it's the same film course,
Mm.
and we kind of just prospered from that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're like the only ones from our course that actually kind of did stuff with the film.
No, that's probably not the only ones. There's quite a few.
A couple, out of like the class was quite big, and only a couple that actually did like shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's But yeah.
But then going on from there, whenever you've made music videos together, this is like kind of just going through a bit of background for both of yous. You've both made music videos both individually but also worked on maybe 1 or 2 together.
Yeah.
And you've always been working on stuff together to an extent.
Yeah, I think we
Both.
became like better at our craft through like music videos.
Yeah.
There's a select amount of artists in this area, and
Yeah.
we both worked with all of them.
Because like it is said, like whenever you look at the music videos he's made individual ones, so he's got to actually do stuff on your own.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Where does it kind of feel better now coming to a point where like you're making content but you're with people that have similar interests and actually want to make the content together?
It makes it a lot easier for sure,
Mm-hmm.
because like doing it alone, and not having anyone with similar interests in your circle,
Yeah.
it makes the motivation isn't really there. And it's proven that if you have a circle of people with similar interests as you have that support system.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of flourish that way and be successful. So that helps me personally. Yeah, I mean, you had this idea for a while, so this ZeusWeusFilm, kind of daily content for the YouTube,
Yeah.
and you kind of pitched it to me over Discord a couple of months ago. So I was like interested. These are my friends, so I want to see you like do well in life. So I want to support you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm helping you like this daily content.
And like the viewer will never see this, but one of his interests is Alan's been talking about this for years. So we done a podcast 2 years ago for me in college, where it was an online one, and Adam always says, "Oh, I'd love to do a podcast on my own, but have like a live thing," and like it's always something that Adam's wanted is make more content. For Adam, the problem, like I'm sure you can say yourself, the problem always has been where do I actually put this content? What do I actually want this content to be?
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird how long it took to an extent to get here, but also through that time there has been the idea of like he's making music videos and all that sort of stuff, which is really good.
Yeah, he's definitely someone that cares about his art.
Mhm.
So
Don't tell me about me that I'm dead. He loved his art.
he was a good man. Yeah, but I can tell like it's been a struggle for you because you want to like create all these like really great videos,
Mm-hmm.
but to like get to that point, it takes like practice. It's
Mhm.
been trial and error, and we think the best approach right now, and maybe for the future, is just like going at it and getting good over time.
Mhm.
Like, you know, practicing while actually doing the activity is probably like the best way of coming across in this day and age.
Which is one thing, like, obviously we'll get back to like doing the actual podcast like right now. Like the one thing that's probably important to mention is just like all the other videos that have run up this week, there is going to be some teething problems.
Yes, for sure.
This is what you would call on the job training. I've never done this before. Technically, I mean, it's not that different than like setting up like an interview or something like that there, or the one podcast that we done was like completely online. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
but anyway, music videos.
Mm.
Now you done music videos before I did. That's one
Not
key
far
thing.
before. I just found it was a good format to practice, I guess. And, you know, I met my first client through work. So I was working, I think it was 2019. So the summer after first year of college, and the year we all met, first year. So I was working at a restaurant. I had my second cousin, Dean Weisner. So we're like far out related. He was a chef in the restaurant, and he kind of approached me one day and said, do you make films? Because he makes music, and he wants someone to make like a music video for him. I was like, I've never done that before. So I thought it'd be like a cool way to practice, and, you know, I like music too. So if I like combine film and music, thought that'd be something I'm really interested in.
Yeah.
So I went with it, and, you know, I've really enjoyed every music video I've been a part of, and you know, I advise you to get into it, because, you know, there's a few artists in the area, you know, get in touch, and it's a cheap, easy way to make content and practice the craft.
Did I ever tell you the story on how I actually did get into it?
It's cloudy. You probably have, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I have. But no, like, cause like I'd seen some of the ones you made for Dean, and like some of the ones that like Dean like was in. Alex was also in.
They did one together. Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the song. They did one together, and then I like started watching some of his videos, and then one night I was out, and I seen him, and I was just like, no, is that him? And I approached him, and I was just like, that's definitely him. We started talking, and then like within a week I was like, he messaged me, being like, do you want to do this? And I was just like, let's go. Let's make a video.
Cool. You know, it happened for a reason, you know. But that's it, you know, like, the time you wanted, like, to maybe get into music videos, an artist came your way. That's where it started.
I was praying for an artist.
Yeah. Anyone.
Well, that was the first music video you made was Alex Knott's infamously titled Anorexic Buddha.
You were there for that?
I helped film it. It was a interesting shit to say the least, but also very fun and good.
Yeah.
That building's I'm pretty sure that building that we filmed in's gone now as well.
Which is crazy to think, because like, to be fair, it was falling down whenever you were in there. It was pretty awful.
Oh,
It was risky. One of us could have died.
Yeah, one of us could have died for sure.
The
But-
video's not live anymore, but, you know,
Yeah.
the music video is great. I really enjoyed it. We have the trailer's on your channel, isn't it? So
I think the video is still live. It's nearly, I can't remember what view count it was, but it was doing pretty well. But no, it's the one after that I don't think is live anymore.
For obvious reasons.
he canceled
Side
a
of
few
that
of
one.
them, didn't he? Or, yeah.
Just sometimes they don't work out, you know.
Yeah.
All I'll say to camera is there was bloody t-shirts involved, and there was
Yeah.
not so much nice language.
It's cool. I I did like some of the shots in that though.
It was a good video, just
Yeah.
both artists wanted taken down, and you were obliged to.
Yeah.
So-
It's like for one of your first projects, like, you know, it was a good stepping stone.
Well, that's the thing. Any music video I've made for anyone so far has been treated like a transaction.
Yeah.
So it's like, although I said to them, can I have a piece of it? You know, I put out a trailer on the channel to prove that I done it and use a bit of my show reel. It's pretty much like, if you pay me for the video, I give you the video. The video's yours. If you want to, when you put it up, you put it up, and if you want to take it down, you take it down. That's just the way I sort of like do it.
Yeah.
It's like, as long as you let me keep the like trailer and a few clips of my show reel that's that's fine. I'm not going to put the whole video up on my channel, sort of thing. Like,
Yeah.
if you pay for it, it's yours. But
it depends the client though. Like I worked with a couple of people in Portsmouth when I was at uni,
Yeah.
and I made like 5 music videos while I was in Portsmouth. over
Well,
3 years.
Even I would say like the viewers like look at this camera. if you go to Michael's channel and see the music videos, if you see the jump from when you were last in Northern Ireland to when you then started uni, which obviously would have been about 2019, 2020, would have been maybe 2018.
2019, yeah.
2019.
Yeah.
And then there's one video in particular called Big Chef, same guy, Dean Weisner.
Dean Weiser, that's
If
the
you
biggest one.
see the videos from then onwards, you can clearly tell a step up from when you left to do that and when you went to Portsmouth, which
Yeah.
shows kind of like this getting used to like different clients and working overseas to an extent, and I would say maybe more, what would the word be? You maybe have more actual artist selection because there'll be more artists around that area.
That's exactly how I'd put it. I'm not releasing as much this year, but I'm kind of like picking who I want to work with because I want to be excited about the content I make and what I'm passionate about.
Yes.
I'm delivering the best product because of that.
Yes, it's like the idea is like, and obviously no disrespect to any artists like over here, but it's like the idea of like, whenever you're in the North Coast or we're in North Coast Northern Ireland, there's not many artists you can work with that openly outlook to have music videos made, etc. So like whenever you go to a big city like Portsmouth, for example, you're doing uni and film, it sort of makes sense for the idea of, oh well, this artist wants a video made, and artists are a lot more forthcoming. Yeah. So
that's exactly it. Especially in the North Coast, like you're not getting as many selection of artists to work with. So we've made like advancements to move to Belfast. It's the next closest city. Yeah. Which has that creative aspect that we want to incorporate into our lives.
Which
so a lot more rappers and film opportunities.
Yeah,
so.
And like, as I'm like, as obviously this first podcast would probably be a bit scuffed.
Mm-hmm.
We can all probably agree that. Yeah. But you'll probably see as it goes along. Well, we do have a topic list that we are trying to go through slowly but surely.
And make it flow.
Yeah, but also at the same time, we do have to pop a part where it's about our backgrounds and stuff like that there. So it may seem a bit all over the place. Editing wonders. Hopefully, it might do some works. I'm not editing it, but I hope the person who is, this guy right here.
2 hour episodes.
2 hour episode.
Good luck.
And
to be fair, I had to do that for like NXT wrestling. Those shows are like 3 hours long.
Yeah.
God.
Well, like Michael's done a bit like his background. Like, for example, ZeusWeusFilm. It's never really been shown, but like, there's been so much stuff with the actual brand that you've done outside. Like, you've done music videos, you've done a wedding video, you've done wrestling shows.
Yeah.
And also, so like, how has that been working on all those different like fields of videography within that field, but also with the idea of, because ultimately like the viewers, I don't know, have you said this to the viewers that like your end goal is actually just to make films? That's your main goal.
I said that in either Wednesday or Tuesday's video.
Yeah, because like the idea that the end goal is to make films. So it's like, how did it feel like? Doing those projects, being like, this is kind of what I want to do, and like what I want to do professionally, but at the same time, it's not your end goal. Your end goal is to actually make films.
Yeah, it's kind of like, because here's the weird thing, for like the past couple of years, like I've talked to like obviously my close friends and a whole bunch like my family and stuff like that about ZeusWeusFilm, but like the weird thing is anyone watching this that's like became a fan of ZeusWeusFilm down the line doesn't have a clue about any of that. So it's kind of like, to put things in perspective, it's like, I think I mentioned it in Beyond Film on Tuesday that I chose a really bad time to start like ZeusWeusFilm, and when I did start it, I focused on the wrong thing, because I started it in 2020 focusing purely on finding clients when 2020 was not a good time to search for clients.
To find clients.
Oh, it went on so long too.
So it was like trying to you guys want to get taken off YouTube. No, but like trying to like find clients. To be fair, I had a successful run at it, but it's like it always sort of eats away at me. Imagine if I'd started this side of it back then, and then started the film. Basically, the whole plan was to almost treat it like, just like a hired camera, basically. So it's like, if the end goal was making films, well, I have two options. Either A, I can go, get like a part-time job and then do my spare time, working on films, or I could find a way to make money in place of a part-time job from doing that. So what can I do? Well, I can try and get client jobs. So obviously started with music videos. After like seeing a few years, then I'm trying to think what was the next one I done. It was whenever we were in college and we were doing the HNC. That was whenever I done a promotional video for a company in Coleraine.
Which one was that?
Society Gatherers, I think they were called. Me and Jamie Blair done it.
You showed me this.
It's probably like a project we'd done, like a promotional video for them.
Cool.
And then after that there was, oh god, what was the next one after that? I think the next category, I guess, after that was the NXT wrestling videos. And then ultimately at the end of the year a wedding video.
Yeah.
Which
did you not do wedding before the wrestling?
I did a few wrestling shows after, but I'd already done a few before as well.
Yeah.
It was like in the middle of
okay.
them. But those were like event coverage is like scary to do because it's like
you get one shot.
Yeah, like on a live wrestling show, for example, it's like obviously if you have multiple cameras, there's no room for. There's a wee bit of room for screw ups because you have multiple camera angles, so you can like cutaways.
And also, just for the viewers, you understand. Notice with the NXT wrestling, this isn't WWE. You don't have a large venue. I've seen the venues you were working with. You just don't have large venues like.
But don't get me wrong, like what they're able to do and like the they have is incredible.
Amazing show as well from like the footage that I've seen. Yeah. It's just you can't have like over the top bird's eye view of the cage, not cage, the ring, stuff like that there that would like you would want to do
aren't like in place.
as a filmmaker, as like a person who wants to make films, etc.
Yeah.
You can kind of see like, oh, that's camera because you always want to have an angle where it's like it goes down onto the ring and it's like you can kind of get a full view, but like you couldn't do that. No. But the way you kind of have to work around it
would make you like more advanced as a filmmaker.
Like Adam's show be shots where it's like this going around the case, with like having one camera set up, kind of like this podcast right now, one set up right now looking at me, but then the other camera that's probably looking at you right now should be hopefully. Adam uses as a handheld one, so you'd have this sort of dynamic versus static, which is like what you'd actually have in like the WWE level shows, but obviously on a lesser scale. Yeah. But if you had more equipment, like more staff, it's like you could have done that. So it's like it always does show like sort of the idea of like the filmmaker's quality. Yeah. Only really goes up with the budget, like not quality with budget, but like what they can produce. Yeah. Only goes up with like budget and stuff like that.
I wouldn't say it would get any easier though, because managing a WWE.
Oh yeah, no.
Both have their challenges, of course. I helped you with one of the wrestling shows back last summer. The first one.
First one was you.
But like there's definitely difficulties. Even like having two videographers, you're having to step over people's feet to get around the ring. Yeah. There was definitely challenges with space.
And also live crowds. Yeah. Like live crowds, like trying to handle audio levels.
Yeah, the real stressful one was the wedding.
Yeah.
Filming it, like, I remember I was just like, got this in the bag, because that's kind of like what I've found from like doing client work for film. It's like, you start here, and when you want to progress to the next stage, you sort of like, not bluff it, that sounds awful, but like, sort of like, oh yeah, that job, yeah, I can do that, and then you sort of show up, you're like, but then you get over that, and then it's like,
learning on the next one.
Yeah, pretty much. But like, I was like, yeah, I'll do the wedding video, no problem, because I really wanted to get into doing wedding videos.
And there were solo jobs, yeah.
Some people do it with teams.
But you did it solo, like, that was quite impressive.
I did it solo, and the night before...
That's probably because you couldn't find anyone else to help him do it at the time.
But like, you were in England, and I think Johnny was busy that day, and so were you, so I was just like, there we go.
Yeah.
And then... So it was like fine, I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I can do that. Then the night before, I actually was just sitting there like frozen in my seat, like, oh wait, like, oh, this isn't even just like a wrestling show. This is like if I screw this up.
This is live event.
It's
2
so
years straight.
scary because people are like trusting you.
Yeah.
It's a one shot video
Yeah.
of their memory of marriage. You know,
But
one of the most important.
I think
moments in life.
it ended up going okay. That's actually a for the series that's starting on Monday. This was film school. That's actually one of the episodes I have planned for it, which is going to be titled something along the lines of how to shoot your first wedding by yourself, because it's like it's weird. I like searched for like on like a couple of nights leading up to it, YouTube videos on like how to like shoot a wedding video. I know that sounds so like amateur, but it's like
We've all been.
but it's like, just is there anything that I don't know that I should
because
that I haven't already picked
like
up?
the idea is like you already have an idea of like, okay, well, maybe you've seen other wedding videos, etc. Like you post online, it's like you have an idea of like, okay, well, I need to get like this shot, and you have it planned in your head, but you always want to have the extra information. Because like I'll even sit here, like if I was to learn anything, first place I would go to is YouTube, because the most chances is you will find people who are professionals who are actually posting on that platform. You're not going to find some like Razmataz, random Donny, who's just like, oh, like here's how you do a wedding video.
Yeah.
Film the wedding. Like you're not going to find any crap.
That's true,
like that.
and you know, I believe like most of the stuff I learned is from YouTube. Maybe you can agree.
Yeah,
Probably.
for sure.
Creative, you know, it's kind of like the blueprint.
Yeah, like creativity is like it's already in your head. It's sort of just finding ways to like, you basically when I go on YouTube, I like go into like find like any sort of like tutorials or thing. You're basically just picking the actual tool that they're teaching and then applying your creativity to it.
Yeah.
You
So
can
like
find
I always
the exact
say,
thing that you need to learn.
so like you'll say like on like, oh, like I went on YouTube now for sounds a bit amateurish. To an extent, people could, but at the same time, it's a platform where people you legitimately do use it for learning.
Oh,
So
no. I don't mean that like YouTube is like amateur for learning. I mean the fact that like I was looking at this the night before the wedding.
Oh, no,
video,
but,
being like guys.
Yeah.
no, but even no, but like you know, like even before that, I remember you saying to me like, oh, like I know that you had an idea of like what shots to do. I remember you telling me that, like how you sort of plan out. But I think it's like that anxiety before the actual event, because it's such a precious event for someone that it's like, and it's your first one doing it, when you're very young, in a career was like, if I mess this up, especially in my area, I will get no more opportunities at this.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's just
That's exactly it. You know, you get very little opportunity in this area, so to get a good repertoire,
yeah.
you need to like do good in the first shot you have. So that's why, you know, we're kind of trying to get out of the north coast and get into the sea.
I mean,
at
like,
least.
I think there is like plenty of opportunity, but like what we're saying was basically like, I just wanted to make sure if there was nothing that I was forgetting, because I had it planned in my head. I knew what I was going to do, where I was going to put the camera. I'd seen pictures of the place before, so I was like, I'll know what I'm going to do. But like, I went online to see if I could find any YouTube videos that were like, okay, here's me. I'm here. I've never shot a wedding video before. I've just started my videographer business. I'm going to do this alone tomorrow. Any advice? Not one. There's literally not one video. There was one guy that like, and I watched him, and he had some good points, but like the points he was given were at my control. He was just like, oh, so like what was it? He was like, he said something along the lines of like, make sure to have like a great relationship with the bride and groom. Chat to the hotel staff first, and all these things that I'm like,
there's all the stuff that you weren't prepared for. And
like,
it's just, you think it's
what I
gonna
don't
be
get about that though is like, what are we supposed to do? Drive up to the hotel staff the day before and go like, hey, my name's like on the video. It's like that. Is that like really what you're supposed to do? 'Cause like, I'm sure like obviously not everyone, but quite a few people who watch this video will be from around the area. But it also assume you get people who aren't from around the area.
probably.
If you walked into a hotel around here, say I'm a videographer for a wedding, you would probably get a phrase, probably in some sort of Northern Irish slang, basically telling you, who do you think you are, and just for YouTube terms, F off, basically.
To be fair, the staff and they were really nice, because it's like, I remember the one piece of the puzzle that I wasn't 100% sure about was, you know, the way like weddings, they have the big table at the end, and at the dinner everyone gets up and does a speech. If the groom does a speech, best man does a speech, the father of the bride and the father of the groom, everyone does a speech, right?
Yeah.
The table in here was like really long. It was like a really long table, and I was like, okay, so like, what am I going to do? I don't want to like hover around everyone and like every time someone does a speech, I'm going like, oh, here, I'm going to set my recorder down here. I didn't want to do that because it's like no, that's just wrong. And I had a chat with a guy who was like the main like guy who was like a waiter. He was like the main like one, and he was like going about being. He was getting all the stuff right. He had a microphone that he was going to pass to everyone who was doing a speech. And I was like, what can I do here? And he was like, I'll tell you what, I'll like take the microphone and I'll take your recorder, and every time I give the microphone to someone else, I'll set the recorder down. I'm going to take the microphone off them, I'll lift the recorder, go up, give it, and I was like, you're a legend. You're a legend.
In your head, whenever you're seeing that, this is what I'm in your head, right? Like, whenever you're seeing him go down, are you sitting there like, go on, put the recorder down, put the recorder down? Are you like waiting for him to not put the recorder down on one of them and then be like, fuck?
He's not doing it fast enough.
I was like fully expecting like the recorder to just like I don't even know. Like I honestly don't know what I was expecting.
Did you just like put full trust in and be like, he's got this?
No,
that's weird. This guy I've never met before.
Yeah.
He's
I mean,
got
you only hope, and this angels come out to save
If
you.
he was willing to do that, I have full faith. I know he can do it.
Because like, I know from like films you've done before, like audio has not been recorded.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into that now.
No, but like it's probably because it's like the most, not the most, but it's one of like the most overlooked things. Because it's like you're always like, oh, what am I going to do with the cameras? Audio will be fine. But like it's only whenever you actually start thinking about it, it's like, oh, like what am I going to do about the audio?
Yeah, like the audio, they can't see our audio setup right now.
Well, they can see like the base of this microphone, but they can't see the fact that it's balanced.
It's not even recording.
Yeah, it's
definitely
TVing into it does.
Do not say that that's not.
Oh no, I stopped myself jinxing that though.
No, man.
There's been experiences of projects in the past we've worked on, that
where
audio hasn't been recorded.
Where movies have become silent movies.
That is it.
It is magic. Is you have a movie, you shoot it all, and then oh wait, there's an audio shoot. It becomes a silent movie. 10 out of 10.
It was always born to be a silent movie.
But you can't have a silent wedding. You can't have a silent wedding speech.
No.
So that's why whenever you just say you gave this weird, like, that is a lot of trust. Depending on like he got it done. Like that's what he done it. But it's very. It's just a like leap of faith, Hail Mary.
You can get away with a wedding video, like music plays a lot through that, but there is talking points, and that's
but like the best man's speech, he's just standing there like.
Yeah, if you get all the audio wrong, you're
like he's not moving.
It depends because there's two main types of wedding videos. There's like the ones you see that are like 5 minutes long, maybe, and it's like basically a montage of the day. They might have some audio for the speeches or for the main ceremony, but the most of it's just like music accompanying like footage of the wedding. Then you have the long form ones, which are almost like a documentary of the day.
Yeah.
Which the one I done was. Obviously, if you do the long form one, you can cut it into the smaller one. But it's like that's what the one I done was. But it's like, because it's especially if you're like managing 2 cameras and you have to like go around. It's always like stressful to make sure you don't like miss anything important. And that's like the main stress, because it's like if you miss something, it's like you can't. It's not like you can be like, sorry, I didn't actually hear.
Can you kiss the bride again or something?
Can you like go back to
you put everything back together, would you?
Was there any like other like big like when it comes to like Hotbox?
Oh, this is a story and a half.
Hotbox Entertainment.
So Michael, Hotbox, by the way, thank you for your opportunity. Just want to say that first. I
want to say it like. Actually go look at Hotbox Entertainment.
Yeah, go watch Hotbox Entertainment. They make quality videos. Like actually, they do make them. I worked as a social media manager there for a while, so I basically posted and produced social media content. Adam was a videographer, and I only worked there for a little bit because I had to get a different job after a while just because of money. But you worked there for around 6 months to a year, but
something like that. It was kind of like when I was doing this sort of thing, off and on.
And I just realised I did just say Hotbox Entertainment. No one will know what a Hotbox Entertainment is unless obviously
Alright.
go to the channel.
Unless you're in there.
But it's basically Belfast / Northern Ireland rap music production company / music filming company, just
Yeah.
all under one umbrella of Hotbox Entertainment.
Mm.
Which, just like the first music video, like getting the first music videos, I got into because of you. Because you were filming the 248 music video that day. Do you remember that one? You brought me up with like a second camera for that.
Oh, 248 Draco.
Drake, it was
Yeah.
his one when we went around Belfast. There was a whole bunch of different shots. And you brought me up as a second camera, but they were getting their song recorded at Hotbox. And
Yeah.
we got a few shots in there, but like I got talking to like OJ in there,
The producer, yeah.
and ended up talking to him a bit more on, like Instagram that night. But it's like, obviously it's not the first money I made off like film work, but it's the first time, aside from like my own ZeusWeusFilm, it's the first time I worked for a company.
Yeah, that was the same for me.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a legitimate thing, you know, like from what you filled me in on. It's, you know, you've got like
No,
company
it was-
phones and shit.
Yeah, like
It
for
was.
example, for me, like I have a better phone now which I use to keep up with topics on Sarah.
Flex.
Well,
ZeusWeusFilm has better.
but basically at the time my phone was basically put it bluntly, and once I was like working on this, OJ actually provided me with a new phone, etc. I had never worked as a social media manager before. It was kind of the field I wanted to go into, what I'm going into now with like this role, but also as behind the scenes production, and also for maybe potential like freelancing gigs. The one thing I did find with social media management though, I think was sort of the line was like, do I like, is everything online to do with me, or is it just the posting part? That was always something I wondered whenever I was doing it, because I would basically do a thing where I would see what someone sent to my manager, who at the time was the producer OJ, and basically go, is this okay or not? So that had been my first gig. It was a very big learning experience, because then like it was basically based upon like, because I didn't have a full idea of what the role is, which obviously now I know you basically do what I did. Say something where you basically go above yourself to see how you respond to certain things, or if you're in your own head and you just are having a conversation with one of the artists, you would just have the conversation as you would. But it's very important to sort of like make sure that I never realized how important it was to an extent. Like whenever I joined, I was like, create content, because like, that's always what I want to do. I just want to create social media content, advertising content, get out there. Whereas I had always worked with clients, but actually keeping in contact with them, going back and being like, hey, when are you dropping this video? Stuff like that there.
Yeah. The follow up and the contract.
Because in college you can't do that. College they can't give you like, oh, here's like 24 music artists that are all like releasing
That's
content
a
here.
one-time thing, you know.
And then like ask them if you can share their content and stuff like that there. Whereas it's like, I am glad for Hobbits that I had that real experience where it was like, hey, I actually have to go out and reach out to the artists. I have to go out and do this.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like, I had to leave at one point, and then you had to leave / freelance now.
Pretty much.
Was that like the reasoning you just got out? Or do you want to get into it? Or?
So one day I was shot, and then
Belfast
I could
crazy,
never
man.
work again.
No, well, like, mine was just, I worked there from start of like January time till around May time, I would say. And the reason I left was just, you're ending college. At the time, like, as a frank, I wasn't getting paid much, and I just wanted to see if there's any other opportunities. It was sort of
stable.
I almost seen it as like, me and him even talked about it before, and it was like my first time. Me and OJ talked about the time. It was almost like work experience to an extent. That's what it sort of felt like. It felt as if this is like what I'm doing alongside finishing up my last year in college. Then afterwards I'm going to move on. Afterwards I then decided instead I'm just going to go into something that's full time, basically full time, just really just work money. Just like get money before I can then move up to Belfast next year with you guys.
Yeah.
That was sort of like my ambition, but I still, like for example, there's ZeusWeusFilm, etc. I'm trying to make money. You never officially left. That is a thing I want to get into, I handed him my notice and all that there stuff, and notice left naturally.
Yeah.
Adam never actually officially left Hotbox.
Wait, you didn't tell, or there was like a end of contract?
It technically no, because there was a video that was being made a few months ago that I got a message about. I wasn't available. I can't remember. There was something that I was doing instead, but technically no.
Fair.
So if
Well,
if you
it's
want
just
to-
naturally died off maybe because like surely he'd know something's up. If you're not like showing up for like, certain videos, yeah.
It wasn't that. It wasn't like I wasn't showing up. It was just that was like a one thing that I wasn't available for. But that was like after months of like I don't know.
It was quite a while ago.
But also at the time they were making a series called Hotbox Sessions, which I haven't really seen them continuing, and that was what me and Adam were mostly working on.
Yeah.
So like it was, I don't know if it's just more now they're just going back into music production, just focusing on that side of it, or and then make the occasional music video with like really high budget, because I think it's, I can't remember the top of my head, but it's one of the most recent music videos, and its production value is immense for a NI. It's probably I wouldn't use the term groundbreaking, but for an NI rap music video. Now I'm not talking about, because obviously you have down south artists as well who probably have more production value.
They come up to OJ Studios too.
But also
the one you're talking about, the one that has Hyphen in it with like the
Yeah,
helicopter?
Hyphen and is it? Oh,
Hyphen's a big artist. I've heard of
I'm
him.
trying to remember the.
He's
I
in
know his
quite a
name.
few of their videos of his,
He's south, isn't
I think.
he? Yeah.
I just because I really like. Is it,
I watched it recently as well. I can't
one
remember.
second, I know it's
So,
bad for camera. I'm
This
gonna
is
look
a
it up here.
recent video. I don't think I've seen it
It's not like recent as in like last week, but it's
this year, and it's
I think so, yeah.
I haven't seen it. I've seen the 2 for 8 one. They're special. But like I haven't seen whatever you're talking about, the Hyphen.
I'll show it to you after.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I have a large, obviously, amount of respect for Hotbox because of the fact that like I have a huge amount of respect for Hotbox, huge amount of respect for Alex Knott, because
Yeah. Those are like breakout
like
opportunities.
they're all like, especially like they're taking a risk, obviously, like giving someone who's quite new to it work. So it's like the fact that they're willing to take that risk is it's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. Like doesn't depend on anyone's stature. If you're giving someone an opportunity.
Just for reference, just for reference of camera, the video was Hyphen Backup Plan featuring Jane and Tunji.
That was it.
They go watch that video. Really good production value. Probably one of the best, like I would say, high budget. Well, not high budget, but just the level of budget put into it for an NI music video is
Link it
immense.
below.
And also the song's pretty good. And I did actually see while going through here that they have been releasing Hotbox Sessions. It's just we just aren't there anymore. So
Well, it's been like good budget. Big Chef.
Big shout.
I don't know what the budget was, or if there
Yeah,
was one. But
the place I'm working at right now, Culture Coffee, Port Stewart, pop in. Yeah, all the chefs are like
side hustle business
Yeah.
going on there.
They know me for like
we'll have
making that
to
video,
check
the big
the
chef. Yeah, they all previously worked in the Rumor restaurants with Dean. So
I love
you
that
know.
video. I love the song as well.
yeah, it's like one of the videos that I'm proud of. Like I'm happy with it. And
Like-
people always bring it up to me.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
So yeah.
like what? Because obviously we kind of mentioned this earlier, but between like the videos, say for example you made at the very start of uni,
Yeah.
and then the Big Chef, there did like, and it's not disrespectful, but there did seem to be like a massive leap.
A jump I'd say, yeah.
Like
It's because I partially give credit to uni.
yeah,
Because like although I didn't apply myself as much as other people in my class, I was still taking opportunities outside
yeah,
of the course to actually practice it,
mm.
like the theory. And from what I did in uni, I took a little bit away, and I think that's maybe progressive style, that I bring to my videos now.
Yeah, because like
So
I remember I seen that like sometimes in past videos it was consistent, but some parts would maybe be like different from others, and it wouldn't fully mesh together. And
Yeah.
it would past videos. But then whenever I seen that video, I was like, the editing was perfectly matched throughout. The pacing was
Yeah.
perfectly matched with the music, and I was like, And then from that, then to your most recent video, which you actually showed me today, I was literally telling you it perfectly matches the song, like the song, the vibe of the song.
Kenny, yeah.
And very good video as well.
Mm.
So like, for me, from like an outside perspective, because I help some of the videography parts. Like, but I don't actually actively go out and do video myself. You can see the clips, like there's, for example, you know, of your music videos, like the one you released like 4 days ago, the Big Chef one. But there's also the idea of like music videos and then a wedding video, which kind of leads me on to say, obviously this is ZeusWeusFilm.
Yes.
So we should probably talk about the content that's upcoming, boys.
So,
disclosing it, yeah.
right, so basically, because I don't think I've actually went into details of what the content is for ZeusWeusFilm, because like, as one piece of like, advice my dad gives me is don't like make every video you're making just be like, oh, I'm gonna do this, just like.
Well, that was practically like your last like 2 years where it was like, I'm coming back and I'm making videos now. Here's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Makes 4 videos. I'm coming back and then this is what I'm gonna do.
It's knowing, taking people's advice, but knowing whose advice to take and what you truly want to do. You know, like if you want to make videos every week, you should do that.
Right.
You just shouldn't listen to advice from themselves. His advice to himself is I shouldn't make videos.
My YouTube channel is practically a boomerang. It's just like you throw it, comes back.
Well, it's literally a running joke.
It literally is a.
I can't. It's no more jokes.
Don't shut the. Oh jeez.
Oh, I'm falling apart.
The speech impediment's coming back.
It's making a return.
It actually is a running joke, to be fair. Like it just, but that's because, like I said earlier, because anytime I put into like Nutty McCashew or whatever my personal channel used to be called, it felt like I was wasting time.
Yeah.
As much as I enjoyed it, it was like if I'm trying to like do film stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this like Nutty McCashew stuff. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like it's two opposing goals working against each other, which is why I think there's a lot more like passion and drive behind making this content work, because this is actively going to boost, like they're going to boost each other.
Yeah.
But the thing about the content for this one, I've never actually sat and like out of all the videos this week, I haven't actually explained what the content is or why, right? So the video on Monday was just an introduction as to why we're making content, right?
Yes.
Why I want to start making content again. Obviously that's a one-time thing. Mondays from now on are going to be ZeusWeusFilm School. I'm going to make my own education. ZeusWeusFilm School. And
this is basically because college was so bad and they couldn't teach anything that Alan feels
we're just having to learn everything ourselves.
Alan's basically saying, I'll teach this from what I've actually learned in the application.
Yeah, to be fair, I think you have more knowledge than most teachers in energy. Let's just throw that out there.
You said that, not me.
I'm getting sued. Let's be honest. Cut that bit out.
But yes, the video I was talking about earlier, where it's like the one video I want to make is, I am here. I have not like shot a wedding before. I'm by myself. What do I do? Because I was in that situation. Why not turn that into a video so I can be like, here's what you need to learn. Here's what you need to do. Here's what to keep in mind. And just like tips about where what camera techniques.
Yeah, because like I remember after you filmed the wedding video, like as you said earlier, you were looking up on YouTube. I remember you said you after you filmed it like the night after, like you know, there was no videos about this. There's literally none. So like, why don't I make videos?
That I seen maybe there was.
But like the whole thing for you was the main thing for Adam has always been, do I upload it on this channel or this channel, and then how do I do it?
Yeah.
So like how I always describe it is just like, Adam is passionate for both, and they're both about making videos. They're both parallel lines. They never meet. They don't come in between. They never actually meet each other.
Yeah.
But always your end goal was, oh well, I want to make videos here, but I also want to make professional side here. And just as we said earlier, these videos now is sort of mixing the both onto one channel, but also is still professional business, but obviously we are making content just because it makes sense. it makes sense.
It just works.
It just works.
I'll probably
It's
get
all
into
hard,
like
it
what
just
the,
works.
I'll probably get into what like the future of ZeusWeusFilm and the plan is, but that's Mondays is going to be ZeusWeusFilm, so it's
Mhm.
going to be like short form videos for now, or should I say sorry, ZeusWeusFilm School Light.
Yeah.
Main one's coming soon.
Patreon exclusive.
Patreon.com/ZeusWeusFilm. But so that's what's going to be on a Monday. It's going to be like short videos, going into different things that you should know or that I would like to tell you. Stuff like advice on using different hardware, software, filmmaking techniques, anything I learn, pass on, right?
Just don't do what I did with the NRC Academy videos.
And I'm doing exactly what you did with the NRC Academy.
What's this?
'Cause they-
What is this?
So the NRC Academy videos were back in college. I don't know if it's still up. The channel myself is like
Oh, it is.
NRC Academy,
It
and
is.
you can find it. You can find a lovely video. We all had the videos about tools known Photoshop and Illustrator.
Oh,
We
I
had
think
the
I know what this
individual
is.
tools, and
Oh, God.
it was
Yeah.
god awful.
Adam
Because
should be one of you.
yeah, it was god awful.
This one will just cut in a clip, not actually.
Yeah, no, you
I'm
can't. Just
taking-
cut the
No.
clip. Just put in the photo where you strap out my neck.
Exactly. Yeah.
Throw up the image.
The draft man.
But
From the cinema.
yeah. So all it says,
Signal to the elephant.
Oh, God.
if you ever see anyone making tutorial videos, it is not as easy as it seems.
It's really not.
Especially trying to use green screens. It should be the simplest thing. Somehow in college, our college made it as difficult as possible.
Wait, how did you do it?
So basically imagine like behind me right now, as the camera can see, there would be a giant green screen like wall. Do you not see in when you're young, like
Yeah,
you're
it
in
was
a
I
college?
remember this video.
It was like
Basically,
the new room, wasn't it?
yeah, you basically had the camera set up, but you just our piece of camera was there. So basically, it was just like I'm talking to camera now, but instead of it being a good green screen, the lighting was awful. So then certain parts of the
remember that
green
room,
were different.
Yeah, there's no lights.
And if you just go and watch some of the videos, you can literally see, because certain people didn't green screen it properly, you can see it cut in and out. You can see the green screen
Yeah,
cut
it's like a paradox in there.
It's yeah.
So what else is, in these new film school tutorials, you will not see that.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
We'll wait and see once it's a few done. But anyway, yeah, so that's Monday's videos, right? So every Monday's ZeusWeusFilm School. Light.
Big up Deng, by the way.
There's a light bite above there.
And then Tuesday, Beyond Film, the series I was debating whether or not doing, because I don't know, it kind of fills that need to talk about stuff that's maybe not film related,
Yeah.
but it's still tied to film, beyond film.
Yeah.
But like that series I want to turn into like sort of like, you know, maybe in a similar vein to ZeusWeusFilm School, but it's just not helping advice about film. It could be about anything else. It's where I come on and going to be like, right guys, this is the next crypto coin. Invest now. You know, what's that
Yeah.
guy?
Donkey Coin, mate.
What's the name of that? What was it we were saying before the fucking camera?
You're about to talk about Mike Maljanak.
Oh yeah, the guy that came on was just like, dink donk. It's the hardest new coin.
Yeah.
And like that. That's obviously like, that's what I want to do with Beyond Film. I want to just plug cryptocurrencies.
That's all you want to do on it?
No.
You know, crypto's pretty cool, I think.
No, like I mean, I toyed with maybe doing an episode about like, you know, things like free trade and crypto and stuff.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah,
like,
like
here's advice from what I've learned, but like
that's like because that's like the whole thing, the content plan. Like obviously we'll go into more depth in a second, but like this podcast and that video, for example, also another series that you'll see tomorrow, but also
We'll
we're
talk
making
about
a
that,
picture.
we'll
We'll
talk
talk about that in a second. You'll see our personalities. Obviously, I'm going to be behind camera more, but you'll still see my personality. You'll see
yeah.
Michael and Adam and
Spontaneous
their
Mike.
antics.
Yeah.
But also, like, this is, for the record, so in that video, those types of videos, it'll be basically you talk about what you want to talk about.
Sort of. It kind
Outside
of
of
spawned.
film.
It spawned from another series. Like part of what I've been doing with the weekly content was ZeusWeusFilm, and what I'm starting to do is take content that I had planned for Naughty McCashew and see if there's a way I can meld that same formula into something else. For example, we're talking here on the podcast. the original plan was to start a podcast on Nutty McCashew called the Nut McCast.
Yeah.
But this is happening instead. The Beyond Film, I technically started a series. I actually started it on a third channel, and then I deleted it, done it on Nutty McCashew for a wee bit, then just moved on past that and deleted that, called Help with Nutty, which was going to be like
Nutty, I love it.
which is going to be like the same thing as Beyond Film. It's like maybe it's like videos about being like, you know, like, I don't know, like some self-help type shit. I don't know, or maybe I move past it and go to like maybe just use it to talk about anything that's not strictly film.
Mm.
And then so that's what Beyond Film is going to be. And then Wednesday is a We Talk About, which is another thing that started on Nutty McCashew that's been moved over, but it's purely going to be whatever film I feel like talking about that week. I'll do like a 10-15 minute video talking about it. It could be a film that's new, could be something that I'm just a big fan of, or just something I'd seen recently. Like the one I was telling Michael, the first proper episode of which comes out next Wednesday is on Troll Hunter, which I watched pretty recently.
Spoilers.
Oh yeah, spoilers.
There's a troll.
Restart the podcast.
Restart the pod.
We'll get it right.
So that's Wednesday. Friday,
Mm.
and I did skip a day for a reason. Friday is obviously the podcast, the Director's Lounge. And then Saturday there won't always be a video. Sunday there'll never be a video, but because you know, man of God.
Mm.
But Saturday sometimes there'll be a video. The videos that'll go up on Saturday is if I have a show reel of any kind, you know, acting show reel or something like that, it goes up. Showcases of like client work, that'll go up.
Mm.
Or like big short films that we're working on, like throughout like a few months period.
We should talk about that too.
Oh yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
When they're done, they'll go up on a Saturday like a big, you know, event premiere and all that there.
It rhymes with sock.
It's a big
But so that's the week of content, or 6 days of content. Leaving out Thursday, because we'll come back to Thursday. Thursday is when the skits are going to be made, or like the wee very short films and a few ideas about ones I want to make. But as we're filming this on a Wednesday,
Yes.
people will be watching this on a Friday, which means yesterday.
Actually, well, one thing I just want to say, you may wonder why did they mention to start this film with this first podcast with Scott? One, because it's our first podcast. Two, because we're filming this at 1 to 2 in the morning.
Is that? Oh my! Is it actually?
Yes, it's 2 a.m. right now when we're alright now. So
that's all I got.
That's so. If you may wonder why, at some points, the brains may be going, that is probably why. In the future, they will not be filmed at...
Nah.
Well, who's going to fall asleep first? Tune in.
You or us?
No banana challenge. But yeah, so Thursday's going to be, I do like skits or like really short films. There's a few different like sub-series to that I have planned, right? But the main one, which anyone watching this, it's already going to be up yesterday, was episode 1 of the Hunter Files.
Hunter Files.
What does that sound like?
Shut. Oh my god.
Because I don't know. No.
So, Hunter Files. But it began as an idea of. It originally began because like the video on Nutty McCashew that me and Johnny made of like playing like Slenderman in a forest on like the Steam Deck. Like I like the sort of atmosphere in that video. I wanted to make videos like that aren't necessarily about games, and I don't have a Steam Deck anymore, right? But then I also thought like, what if it was like a parody of like when you turn your TV on at 3 a.m. and you see those American like over the top ghost hunting shows, like Ghost Hunters and whatever they're called, like
They're fake paranormal files. That is the one I remember the most of when I was a kid.
Leave the edit on auto drive, man. To be honest.
Like a parody of those type of things, and like me and Michael were throwing about a few names. I was like, oh, something like generic, like Haunted Files or something like that. And then for some reason, I don't know why, but my brain just connected them into one word. I was like, Huntophiles kind of sounds like.
Yeah.
So like.
I didn't realise that's why it was called
Did you not
Huntophiles.
know?
I thought it was like
Oh, this can't go in.
I thought it was like Hunter Files in the Hood.
So that's when the-
Huntophiles.
So, you're telling me you heard Huntophile and your brain didn't even. Like,
Yeah, I instantly thought, yeah,
I said it to him and he just mentioned Jared Fogle straight away.
that new deal.
What? I thought it was like Huntophiles is meant to sound like a rap group version of the Hunter
Yeah,
Files.
that's what the
It
dictionary
was
went
connected like haunt, like haunted, and files, like like files of like paranormal files and stuff like that.
So
There,
like,
and put them together, Huntophiles.
yeah,
I thought it was just meant to...
and the beasts. You don't want to know about the beasts that we discover.
Why are you talking about the beast already? We started up with
The
the
beasts are my thing now. I just talk about the beasts, but you'll see it at some point.
Alright, so Huntophiles, which I now know why it's called Huntophiles, makes me feel weirder about the idea that we're going to call ourselves Hunters in the video.
Say what it sounds like.
I mean,
Because if you Huntophiles sounds like I have been saying for the last few days when we were even like sitting coming up with ideas for like doing the Huntophiles.
yeah.
Oh, we should name ourselves the Hunters.
Well,
That's basically calling ourselves the
no, we're like the hunters.
This is not going on YouTube.
Patreon only.
Granny, turn off.
So if you wonder why there's a massive cut,
Start the podcast
Okay,
again.
right. So
We'll get it right. That's the most
we'll
time.
bring it back. A parody of American ghost hunting shows.
yes.
Huntophiles. And episode 1 is set in a generic forest
Mm-hmm.
where we track the fabled beast of Ballyboogie, which is a real thing. by
Yeah,
the
it's
way.
an actual real thing. We have to realise the video itself doesn't make it seem that way,
Yeah, I wish someone told me it was real before I walked on a forest. Okay.
but it is real. Well, a real story.
Can I drink some of this whiskey?
Yeah.
Because I'm getting flashbacks right now. Anyway.
Whiskey brew. You actually want some?
There's some in there.
We just cut this part.
No.
Yo, man needs his medicine.
No time.
He starts screaming.
Yeah, so I think this could be a good series. It won't be the only series that could happen with there's a few other ones that just a few ideas for just like like different like wee short films and skits. Wait, what was the one you were telling me about today? It was like
The Poet's Corner.
yeah.
Where you're saying a ridiculous poem to the camera, then it cuts to the story that you're talking about.
But why do you just say it out loud then if you're gonna make it?
Cut this.
No, that sounds
cut it.
that sounds like a good concept, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't tell you what the poem was about, and he's not going to because it's not going on YouTube.
Some. Oh, that's right.
What the?
Insert bleeps.
Something about.
Okay. Again.
We gotta do it right this time.
I'll take the whiskey.
Doing it for Trump guys.
Blur that.
Blur the whiskey after you said that.
I know. It's gonna.
But
Say it to the camera.
I literally joked that we were going to say shit like this. Anyway, what?
so going back to the point, Huntophiles, right, is going to be a new show. Well, not a show, but like a series that we do.
I know what it is.
Or it is at this point. First episode only features Adam and Michael. Next, because I couldn't be there that night due to work. Future episodes, I will be there. So basically, it'll be me, Michael, and Adam as hunters.
Yeah.
We're basically going to try to find. And if anyone has any suggestions for anyone that is abandoned, please leave them for us.
That's it.
Because we
Tom's
actually
bringing
want
the muscle. Adam's bringing the brains. I'm bringing the wild card aspect of the thing.
exactly.
I pulled the rabbit out of the hat.
Don't
So
know
we're
where
gonna-
you've got that from, but that is fantastic.
That's kind of what we're going with.
Yeah. So it'll basically we just want to go to areas and actually basically explore and sort of, and also if anyone has any fears of things like,
He's drinking.
bruh.
I'm listening.
If anyone has any like, sort of like, what's the word? Is it urban legends / myths, creepypasta stories from like Northern Ireland or Ireland
Comment below.
that we could
Oh,
actually
stuff.
go and investigate as the hunters? Please leave them down
So
below.
a couple of creepy pastas
Because-
down there.
I did have one suggestion given to me earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Don't say it in case it's a Hunter Files episode.
I'll
Say
say anything.
everything to
But-
the camera.
We are very excited to actually be making like the Hunter Files. We are very excited to be making it. We have tons of
It's
ideas
cancelled.
for it. We have tons of ideas for
Say
already.
credit card details and
So
some
just delete it.
But like I was talking to Michael earlier. We do have a plan on what like happened to your character before and during the first episode and what is going to happen to him at the start of the second one.
I'm
Which obviously-
interested.
No spoilers, but we'll
Yeah.
fill you in.
Mm.
And like I said, I was talking to someone earlier. They had suggested an idea about a few episodes, but like, there's literally so many like things you could do based on that. Like you can make up things, but even then,
Mhm.
there's like what do you have in like folklore? Like you have banshees here. You have like,
Skinwalkers,
skinwalkers.
the classic.
You got some skinny walkers running around.
You have chain links. You have all sorts of like scary urban myths here.
Scallywags.
And also the idea of like you probably just have locations that are genuinely meant to be haunted.
Yeah.
Like so, like basically what Haunted Files is gonna be is basically, are they real? Is paranormal real? That's what we're going to be trying to debunk. But in a very light-hearted way, we like maybe down the line it might be a bit more serious, but for a lot of it will just
It was pretty serious for me.
yeah. Well, I could
Tune
tell.
in.
I could tell watching the video it was. So, Haunted Files will be released on Thursday as well as other skit content that we'll be creating. And Podcast Friday.
Oh, why?
What's this?
This?
Podcast Friday? Is this a podcast?
You're the second
I'm a
host.
bankster, mate. What do you
You're the
expect?
second host? What do you mean?
Well, I'm good at hosting dinner parties, not podcasts. Alright?
What?
Right, cut that.
But no, so this podcast, I'm not going to be here in front of the camera most weeks. Like that is, I don't know why you're giving me that face.
I was just looking at that pillow over there.
Well,
But-
you're the audience
so-
favourite.
Technical Tom.
So I'm technical Tom, right? So I will be behind the cameras where you are right now, but also I'll just be doing the job of researching and just producing behind the scenes, just to make sure everything's running fine for the podcast. And these are your main two hosts, being
Thing one and thing two.
that are in a really rough neck right now.
God, I can't remember the last time I slept.
What does that mean?
Nothing?
You slept?
No. I've been working around the clock, so Swiss. I swear.
That's nothing as well. The amount of thought I've given in the past like just month to like should I change my name? Not my legal name. I mean like
the,
my,
the business name or
the business name.
Well, now you're a lord.
like. And
Well,
Should we get
nothing,
into that?
that has nothing. Oh, well, that has nothing to do with the.
we will do a whole podcast in the future completely based on Sealand.
Yeah.
But like
We hope we do a podcast on Sealand.
It's hard getting up there, man.
that's my goal for
We
2023.
could-
In 2023, I want to have legally set my feet on Sealand. 'Cause I could set my feet on Sealand, but they will kill me. I want to legally.
The guest should be
You can't
Johnny.
die that.
Oh, it has to be. Well,
John-
I mean, there's no reason why the four of us couldn't.
Oh yeah. If they like one of us on, they should be like all four of us on.
I'm not counting 4.
I can't count.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh.
But like, yeah. So it's like makes sense to me. It sounds good to me. It sounds good to like my friends that I've talked to
It's
about it.
catchy.
But like, anytime I speak to like say a client, and I'm like, oh, here's my business card, and they're like, ZeusWeus.
Yeah,
I'm just like, oh no.
Well,
but-
people around here are incompetent in English because
It's not even their fault. Like if you read Zeus, like
I always
what?
felt as if like even when you started, I was like, no name's ZeusWeus.
Yeah.
I always felt as if like I have to have an Australian accent to say it. It's like ZeusWeus. I always felt as if I should have an
I'm gonna
Australian
start doing
accent
it.
whenever I said like
Yeah.
ZeusWeusFilm. It's like that's like where I think like no one I imagine like the channel being from. It's like, hey guys, it's ZeusWeusFilm. It's like that's what I imagine.
well, that's your
I-
demographic.
But like, I know it's you, and I'm like, ZeusWeusFilm, Adam, ZeusWeusFilm, Adam. So I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have had it for like how many years?
Well, if we're talking like just never mind film aspect, we're just talking ZeusWeus 4,
4. So it's like,
film aspect 2, and
but it's so like, the name ZeusWeus is fine. It's always just been, do you want that to be ZeusWeusFilm as like your company name?
I think it's too late to change it. I know
Yeah.
like companies change stuff all the time, but it's like
Nah,
even
you
as
gotta keep it.
small as ZeusWeusFilm is, it's like anyone that's interacted with it so far knows it's that. So it's like
Yeah.
no, there's no point going and changing it.
I think it's
Well,
a good name.
Yeah, but like one of the ones like I seriously was like, I'm sure everyone here gets packages. Everyone here gets things delivered to them.
Oh.
You may be wondering, where the fuck is Hermes gone? The worst delivery service in the world.
Herpes.
But
Hermes,
I haven't heard anything. What did happen to them?
they turned into a company called Every.
Every time they deliver, they
Yeah, that's basically the name. So it's basically
Oh,
went
they fed
from
into that.
so it's basically instead of being Herpes, the shit delivery service that never gets your stuff on time, to be every time it's not on time. Because I've seen that recently. I was like, so you can rebrand, you can change your name. It's just we still like the name. We like the name ZeusWeusFilm.
Yeah.
yeah. Like,
It's just could Knight and Cashew have conflicted with that?
do you remember the time there was like a very brief stint where I was like, should I rename my like professional company, which is this, to like not film? And then I was like, no, that's not a good idea.
That's destined
We
for
make
Pornhub.
nut
Like,
films over
that's
here.
destined for Pornhub.
Can I film your wedding? I'm called Nut Film. No, but
I'm a nutty guy.
like the
OnlyFans coming soon.
oh, flips the hook.
Oh.
But like the
Seriously though, guys.
Business.
I'm gonna upload all the Patreon stuff to OnlyFans instead.
You got a year of content for that.
But like, yeah, the worst part is whenever if you
You've heard of Humpophiles, now you're going to hear, see, Humpophiles.
I forgot to say the actual thing.
Pedophiles.
oh my god.
God.
The worst part is whenever a client like asks you like just someone that's not like your close friend asks you to explain where the name came from. It's
Yeah.
like if I tell like it just sounds so stupid. Like it's like, oh yeah, ZeusWeus, cool name, ZeusWeusFilm. Whenever you actually have to explain where ZeusWeus that the name came from, it kind of just makes me realise that
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
stupid.
But imagine having to explain where nut films came from. Like, come on.
Like,
Like,
so where'd you come up with nut films?
Well,
one day I was just eating nuts.
I just happened to be watching a film.
Well, like, his last name's very
Uh,
Nutty McCashew.
It's genius. It's genius, and it also came from the same stupid place that
Freeze
ZeusWeusFilm came from. They literally came from the same place, and it's so annoying.
Oh, well, there's Gmod.
Well, no, Gmod was Knight Makashi. Counter Strike was ZeusWeusFilm.
of course.
Strike, the beautiful game.
Yeah, like it's just I don't know.
Yeah.
We're playing Counter Strike, and there was one like Russian guy on our team that was just like giving us grief.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember, but he was just like being really nasty, and like I went up behind him and like shot him in the back with this, which
Yeah.
is like the wee taser.
Yeah.
Badass.
And like obviously he shooting anyone with a Zeus is like the ultimate like humiliation. But he was also our teammate, and like he just screamed at me in Russian, but he called me a wuss.
Yeah.
And obviously the gun was the Zeus, and the same part of my brain that put Humpophiles together just took Zeus and Wuss and just put them together, and I was just like, because at the time I was like, I need a new YouTube channel name, because my personal channel at the time was Potato with Justice.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to get rid of that, and then for some reason that those two words came together. I was like, that. And then like
I can see why you didn't want to have to tell companies that story.
Yeah.
yeah, because that sounds stupid. And then like 2 years later, when I started my professional thing, I was like, I don't want them to be too like on the same place, so I just made ZeusWeusFilm like an offshoot of it. And then I was down the line, I was like, okay, now they're too similar because some people will search for ZeusWeusFilm and they'll find
Nice.
ZeusWeus.
Oh,
and
this was, yeah.
ZeusWeus, and I'm like, I don't want that, so I need to change this. And then me and Johnny were playing Gmod, and I was just coming up with stupid names. I was just like Nutty McCashew, so that became it.
Is that video still up? The one with you in the forest, the Slender video.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone questioning who is Johnny? Where will that video be?
So in like the featured channel section of ZeusWeusFilm, there's a link to my personal one, Nutty McCashew. It's like one of the most recent videos.
Yeah, it'll be Slender in a forest on Steam Deck.
Yeah.
That's similar to that title. Johnny's in that video, just for anyone wondering why are they referencing a guy called Johnny.
Big
Johnny will
Johnny.
be on this podcast.
Oh, he'll
soon.
be on.
He'll be on
Johnny
at some
boy.
point.
I'll make him.
So
Cue Johnny montage.
also could make an appearance in Hunter Files. We are wanting guests on Hunter Files as well. Guest hunters.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like the same time I came up with Nutty McCashew, he came up with the genius name of Sir Michael Balls.
Beautiful.
So
Nutty.
like he has to be on Hunter Files with
Mhm.
Sir Michael Balls.
Yeah, he's the human name generator. Trust me.
Human name generator.
Yeah.
So, to move on from the human name generator, so we went through all the content plans of what we are hoping to make in the future, which we are hoping to make this content week by week for years to come, as a free at least,
I'll
and get
be
guests
on that.
involved.
Same.
It's the intensity in his eyes when I looked at him. When he's just like, same. I hate
The
this.
last thing that actually you just need to talk about more than me, which is probably half this podcast, is the new film you're making. Well, short film, not well. Actually, I would say it's not a 2-hour film or 1 hour film. It is a short film. So
15 minutes.
I mean,
pure joy.
one run through what it's usual short film length,
Yeah.
10 to 20 minutes sort of like thing, unless we expand it even
Well,
further.
15 minutes is the amount for a film festival.
Most film festivals, yeah. Anyway, getting ahead of ourselves. So yes, first time in actually a couple of years that I've made a short film. It started. I'm not going to go into too much of the story because obviously it hasn't been made yet, so we don't want to spoil it. But it began as like an idea I was writing like late last year, based on like one concept, which is like the core concept of the film. That I was like, I need to do something with this, and then over the summer there I was just like, right, this is happening. I'm turning this into like a film, and all the like pre-production stuff's done. Working with my dad and like his like his brand new bigger book films. He's doing the props and like the can't say creature effects.
I love what you're building out here.
I'm building Lego bricks here, man. I'm actually like, but he's doing the creature effects because sometimes spooky things happen, but we don't really have a deadline for it.
No, well, before December it'll get done.
Sometime before 2025.
Yeah.
I would say hopefully coming out around here before Halloween.
That would be.
That would be the ideal.
I can't see why it would.
Because the genre is like a thriller horror movie type
Yeah.
idea. So
Well,
That
it's
would-
the edit that might
that's a
as
bit
well.
of a hint for you. That is,
Like,
and then with Michael's great rhymes of sock as a title.
well, we'll just
Yeah.
say, I mean, it's not like that's a secret. The title is, at the moment anyway, Knock Knock.
Yes.
You can even
Oh.
see that on the Patreon because it's like, I put some stuff up about
And the current
Oh, right.
cast of the film is myself as an actor. I've acted in a few of Adam's films for better or worse.
cut in like the clip where you go like, you?
No. And a actor who lives up in Belfast called Ira, who is actually, unlike me, a professional. Or
You've
aspiring
worked with Ira
professional.
before.
Yeah, because like I worked on like a student film last year at Queen's. I was an actor in it, but it's like I didn't actually realize how good like Facebook pages were at just like finding acting gigs. Like, people putting requests in there all the time, and you can just like obviously go and apply. But yeah, so there was meant to be 3 characters in it,
Mm.
but I cut one of them out because I was like, it really
Doesn't fit.
it doesn't fit, and it actually sort of helps the story more if that character wasn't there basically.
Mm.
So 2 characters set in one place.
Mm.
It's gonna be quite scary. It's gonna be a bit scary. The aim is to release it on Halloween
Mm.
because obviously releasing releasing a horror film on Halloween is obviously like, you know,
Peak.
it's like it's just a good time to put it out.
Yeah.
Or even a few days before Halloween, so it's it's been out for a wee bit and all that. But it depends as well because it's one of those things like if you're like what how many films did we have to do in college? It was 2. Or
Did one
film,
every year. Oh, the documentary. Yeah, like
Yeah,
2
no,
actual
two.
films.
Two films, but one was more of a documentary, so 1 film, and it was more like working towards a deadline, which can be really good because sometimes if you have the deadline, you'll take risks and you'll do things to try and make sure you reach it. And if you don't have a deadline, sometimes you don't push yourself as much. But at the same time, it's like sometimes if you're working to a deadline, you leave out details.
Well, like what I was gonna say is like the ideal would be that because obviously this is one that you've worked on over the summer and it's getting produced now, but it's been trying to come up with all these ideas while also trying to figure out what you're wanting to do with ZeusWeusFilm, etc.
Yeah.
So now you have a sound, you're actually like, we're going to be making content week by week. The idea would be release a film every season. So every 3 months to 4 months, release like a short film.
Something like that,
Yeah, so like obviously this would be the one for the end of this year.
Yeah.
And then either during the Christmas time and then onwards, or just from the start of next year, you would then take a certain amount of time to then make a new movie. That would be hopefully what we'd be trying to do. But obviously, certain ideas, if you want to make a longer film, it'll take longer, etc. But that'll be stuff for like keep us. It's not really one where it's like it's a scheduled in thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the film we're hoping to do every 3-4 months have a movie come out, but obviously, as I said before, time constraints and stuff. You guys are the filmmakers, so like, I would understand for yous, pre-production. Like, there's a lot that goes into movies that people don't see. Even if it's a short film, there's pre-production, there's getting actors, there's casting, there's getting everyone at the right time, especially whenever you're doing it at our level.
That's the biggest thing about film, the scheduling.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing to master, especially at the beginning stages of the career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because, you want to make the best available content, and you want to have everyone free at the same time, which was quite a difficulty in my final year of uni, like my final film.
Yeah, because like when I imagine for years, it's like you have people who say for example have like part-time jobs as well as acting, stuff like that there, where it's like it makes
Very
it
difficult.
hard for them to come on certain days, but then you have to find certain days that work for everybody, but then will everyone actually be available for that day? It's very especially that's what I'm saying when I say like the R level, like whenever you're not like the professional Hollywood level film where it's like these actors are professionals, they turn up for that movie on that day because they are contracted for that day.
That's it.
A lot of time the stuff like the films you guys make now, it's very much
and you want to make the best possible thing as you can.
Yeah, of course.
And we're also figuring out the business of it too. So knowing how long these things should take is a learning curve, and it's going to take time to really establish that.
Just like this podcast.
Oh
yeah.
So I think that's us like nearly done. We got the
obviously I would like to like extend the wrap a bit more, but due to technical difficulties, we'll end it. I can't even say prematurely. We have been recording way over. But like that's good. That means we're excited to get the first episode like going. So it's like there's plenty to talk about. But God, I don't even know where I left off there. But like, do you know what? I actually don't think it's one that bad. I think it's one pretty good.
Yeah, it's one. Well, there's going to be a lot of cuts needed because we talked a lot.
Yeah.
You might have to have the extended version on Patreon.
I might have to take out Michael's excessive racist slurs.
Yes, of course. You need to take them out for sure.
I just
Guy's going crazy
clocked
over here.
into that.
Yeah, he just can't help himself.
What?
But yeah, I think we'll probably just wrap it up here.
Mm-hmm. Expect a more cohesive, timed, constructed podcast next week that is not going to be filmed at literally 12 a.m. to 2:50 a.m.
The next episode is going to be a masterpiece.
It's going to be a master. You're going to watch this
Live
and be like,
performances.
live
Burlesque
performances.
dancers. We're gonna have the whole thing.
So, and on that note, that is our first episode done.
Aye. Let's just aye.
Bye.
Bye.